Okay, Abusia, and after say President Mahama is sworn in a year Doma Hene as a year Court of Appeal Judge Abusia or the Nsembi Ababetuja Abusia ato a year fear and panic be area ato NPP Amanyo Koneswa. Those involved in Galamsey Abusia wahente say a year 15 years jail term. And it is a omwa omubeso omuse omoye illegal mining no abusia ye de bema na okansa asemu no it is a Akonta mining abusia or chese 15 years jail term and it is a Akonta mining and those involved in Galamsey no CCR no omobabe process case no na wa we involved in a year Akonta mining and a year illegal mining biano on na omo ahudi responsible now can't ask me no NHS ebusia NPP for no HSA ate omunsruma enye asam keto akra Akonta mining chama Wontumi sisiano doma nana doma hene as isi ayaye no Court of Appeal judge no wa hint 15 years a year jail term on a year chama Wontumi Akonta mining and illegal mining. So mumi yankona yankonkuti and simbi odi tuja na osanso kase Galamsey HSA ekosono ye hwesi si Galamsey ni the President Mahama time there Galamsey no abafom papa na o last 8 years eno ene mane hinte on a year 15 years jail ma or say any kwanye state of emergency ni there ye declare mumi yankona yankokoti and sebia ekoso unsubscribe subscribe like na share ma afofron so enter into me and can be Ghana Politics Avenue. So and don't forget to click on the notification bell so never any updates be able drop piano once able to me aka medamase.
I've been on this tour for almost 26 and a half years. Galamsey the illegal mining did not start yesterday. It's been with us for some time. If you ask me about my assessment, I would say now it's going down. You know why I'm saying that? If you look at some of the steps that have been taken, before we're not hearing about the people in the blue, the water gas and all that. We're not hearing all that. You understand? People have invaded the forest reserve. We're not seeing that. Before this regime came, I know for a fact, because of the work that I do, 9 forest reserves have been taken over. Now that situation has been kept down. I wouldn't stand here to say that Galamsey is gone. It's still with us. But I believe that if you look at now the seriousness, I want to encourage whoever is in charge, the Minister for Lands, government, the people of Ghana, we should ensure that we nip this situation in the bud. So far as I'm concerned, except at times I'm not in Doma, but I want to assure the people that so far as that area called Doma, once you are there, be sure that one day you'll be caught and you know the punishment, minimum 15 years. Do you have to do that? So I'm calling on all Ghanaians that this is the only thing that our ancestors left for us, so we don't have to destroy the water bodies. We don't want to destroy our cocoa farms, and ensure that we do farming in the right way so that we can all be happy as Ghanaians.
So you think that the meeting is in the right direction?
Of course, yes.
A state of emergency, you think?
No. It has not come to that. Let's look at how much we garner in respect of mining. I mean, once you declare state of emergency, the question is that who can do? If we are not able to get that resources, there will be a gap. How is government going to? So there's a need for us to do it. As for mining, nobody will argue that there shouldn't be mining, but it has to be mined responsibly. That is the whole thing. People who are doing Galamsey, we are destroying ourselves. There's a need to start. I want to appeal, especially as a chief. We, the chief, should not say we don't have the power. If somebody could do it, it's in the jurisdiction, and not allowing people to do it. Why can't you do it? In Doma, if you come there, I'll arrest you and give you to the police so that you'll be prosecuted. I want to appeal to everybody they should ensure that the people should not engage in galamsey, because if you do it and you are arrested, you know the consequence for it. It will not be good for all of us.
Now the president has given you the charge. What responsibility lies ahead of you?
Oh, he was candid with us about the expectations that the Ghanaian people expect of us. I have been on this job for 28 and a half years. So having been on the bench, we know how, we deal with cases. I mean, he has chastised us to ensure that cases do not delay, that we should ensure that justice is dispensed to all manner of people, no matter the background that they come from. So it's a huge responsibility, but I want to assure the public that we dare not fail. We ensure that we work together with His Lordship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, as by law established. Together we all put our maximum effort to ensure that justice is dispensed to fair. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much so. I mean, ever since your nomination, there's been a lot of trends with respect to you as well, that now you have this appointment, it should be relief to you. I don't know what that means. And I guess you've also been seeing the trends though. And many also say that the courts are being packed. What will be your response to people who say this to the appointing authority?
I'm not too sure about what you have seen in the trend, except to say, if I use my case as an example, for the first 13 years in my life, I moved 2 places as a high court judge. For 15 years, I've been at one place. So to say somebody is packing the court, in fact, presently, until today, I was the high court judge representing I was representing the High Court on the Judicial Council. So if you look at the order, I was the second. To say somebody is packing, to me, I think we've been there even for too long. It's not a matter of, packing the court, but I believe that each one of them, about 21 of us, have his own competencies, has his own, the strength that they come up with. So I wouldn't say, if you look at the number of cases and the backlog that we are all, saying that cases delay, ostensibly there's a need for us to ensure that judges come on board at all the levels, Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the High Court, so that we can, hold on to ensure that the cases are, expedited with. So in a nutshell, I wouldn't say that the courts have been, once you have the necessary competence, once you've been there for some time and you have been elevated.
You suggest that you have close relations with the head of state, and also, you've had this appointment. Many say it is to say thank you to you. What's your response to that?
No, as for the appointment, normally the president appoints on the advice of the Judicial Council. I believe that if I was not competent, if I've not been there for long, if I don't have the competencies, I was telling you that if I'm not mistaken, out of 142 judges of the High Court, if I'm representing them as the senior most on the bench, it tells you probably I've even been overlooked, not me alone, and some of the others. So if he has come to see that we have the enough competence, we have the expertise, and he has appointed us, I don't think people should look at. I know him. If we were not, he was there for close to some number of years before he lost power 2016 and somebody took up. He could have appointed. Why he did not do that? So it means that this is the right time. He has seen and he's doing it. So nobody should look at. I know him. If you look at all the colleagues who were appointed, they all have. Justin Dogu, who was first before me, he was appointed to the High Court 2006. Some of them have come and they have gone past him. What would you say about him? If it's not me, what would you? I have been a High Court judge since 2010. For 15 years. If I'm getting to me, it's good. I've been recognized.
Will you tone down?
As to?
They say you have been talking, you have been ranting. That's what the public say. Will you tone down?
I wish that one would not come here because that is custom. You see, I wouldn't see myself as ranting. Let me be blunt. I want people to go and see 2007, 2011, 2007 during President Akuffo's time. Who started this one? 2011, who started? 2020, 2021, before I join in. So I believe Ghanaians, you have to be fair. Once you are fair, especially as media people, now all these things are verifiable. If you go on social media, you will see who started. So if somebody starts and you join in, I see this one. Judicial is different, and the chieftaincy is different.
Ghana tonight, ahead of tomorrow's Anti-galamsey forum, civil society voices are sharing the expectation. The galamsey fight, is it on? Has it been on? What is their expectation exactly of government beyond the number of achievements that the president points to in this fight against galamsey? The number of persons who have been arrested, the number of excavators that have been impounded, chamfans that have been destroyed, water pumps that have been seized, and the forest reserves that have been retrieved from these illegal miners. Are these enough to, as it were, giving a clear, direct, convincing, positive indication that there's commitment, political commitment to fight galamsey? And that's the question we're going to find out from one of the invitees to this meeting. But civil society organizations will be meeting tomorrow to engage on matters of illegal mining. This is upon their request and invitation of His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama. He has a statement that came through earlier in the week. On Monday evening, we got this statement signed by Dr. Callistus Mahama, Secretary to the President. And in fact, he wrote this statement and this letter upon the instructions of His Excellency the President. The engagement expected to be at the Jubilee House tomorrow, 12 noon. Remember that we're going to be monitoring this quite closely. Kamala Kluche is our presidential affairs correspondent. Is going to be there. And whatever would come out of the meeting, there's going to be an engagement with the press right afterwards. We will be there to bring you the details, so keep an eye on TV3. But this engagement, according to Dr. Callistus Mahama, is aimed to provide a platform for what has been described as frank and constructive dialogue between the government and civil society on the menace of illegal mining, with a view to harnessing collective expertise, perspectives, and solutions to address this national challenge, right? So that's the focus. That's the objective of this meeting. Frank and constructive dialogue. And these are some of the invited organizations: Catholic Bishops Conference, Christian Council of Ghana, Ghana Episcopal and Charismatic Council, Office of the Chief Imam, Ghana Muslim Mission, Arocha Ghana, one of the NGOs in this fight against galamsey, Immani Ghana. Well, it's Immani Africa. That's also captured on this letter. There's Institute for Democratic Governance, IDEC. There's Center for Democratic Development, Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program, COMSDEP, Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. That has Engineer Dr. Kenashigbe in there as well. Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, Eco-Conscious Citizens, Awolasewa, leading this group. University Teachers Association of Ghana, they've just elected the first female president of that association. She's going to be there. Fix the Country, Oliver Bakavon, Star Ghana Foundation, Center for Democratic Transition Ghana, Ghana Chamber of Mines. You have them all in there. Well, one of the invited organizations, founder and president, is joining us on Zoom right now to have a conversation on what posture they are going into this meeting with. Franklin Kojo is founding president of Immani Africa, one of the invited organizations for this meeting with the president tomorrow. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Mr. Kojo, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening. It's always a pleasure to be with you, Alfred.
Perfect. It was always good to connect. Now, tomorrow, you're going to meet the president, 12 noon. It says the objective of this meeting is a frank and constructive engagement. What posture are you going to this meeting with tomorrow?
So the agenda has been set, frank and open discussions, right? At the point, I was wondering why we're going to have the meeting, and because I thought that we've had conversations about this matter for years. You know, the last guy who occupied the office actually put his life on the line, but he couldn't actually deliver. And so the current president, who also promised to do much about galamsey, is calling for a meeting. Then maybe there must be something more important he wants to tell us. But beyond it being a meet and greet, I think we'll have to have those frank conversations really. And I think that for me, I'm just going to ask for timelines, and essentially, I want the minister or the president to tell us where we are, where we were when they took office, where we are at right now, and what ought to be done in order to clear the waters. I mean, that's all we all need, right? And so we want a timeline, some KPIs that will be put in place so that we cannot measure. I've said that if we don't see any results after 3 months, probably after 2 months, then the next meeting I may not be attending. So clearly, in the spirit of frankness, which is what the Callisto's letter suggests or is asking of us, then clearly we should deliver. So for me, I think initially, as I said, it's going to be a meet and greet. I think it goes beyond that to the extent that we can collectively ask for timelines, certain KPIs, and again, we'll be willing to ask them what they require of us as civil society actors. We are not mouthpieces of government, but again, we interact with or we interface with government and maybe the lay people. So maybe they should also ask us what they want, what they really expect of us, and I think we'll deliver. I think that tomorrow's meeting will be interesting, and yeah, so we're having frank discussions, as they say.
I see. Then you cite what's happened before. The fact that you say, look, this kind of meeting, this is not the first time it's happening. Nana Akufo met you, and so to the extent that this is happening again, it doesn't excite you that much. But what do you want to see different with this second one, beyond the expectation that you're going into this meeting with?
I think what I want to see is to have a minister for the sector actually do a whole PowerPoint presentation for us, basically showing us all the map. I mean, an aerial photography of what plagues Ghana, and as I said, a timeline of what has happened from the time they took office up until now. All the initiatives he and his boss have initiated, and the party have initiated. We want to see whether there have been results. Don't forget that the president has shied away from total emergency, something I've come to understand also, that rather than have a total state of emergency for the entire country, we should have targeted state of emergencies, pocketed state of emergencies, which can be measured, right? Against the fact that there what's it called, the blue water initiative, and a number of initiatives that we've had the minister actually recount. And last we heard was that some of these forest areas will now be termed security zones. What does that mean? And for me, apart from showing us that, we want to see the timelines as to what will be attained. So in a month's time, when we meet, we should be able to get results, right? Maybe 2 months away, we should also know what we are attaining, so that we ourselves can measure. Together, we can measure the performance, so that it will not be the government telling us alone and people disputing, opposition people disputing. We should do it collectively. And that's what I think will be taken away from this meeting. Otherwise, it will be another talking shop. I expect and I hope that this will be happening.
Prior to this meeting, the president has highlighted a number of things that he says that, you know, is the reason why he is reluctant in declaring a state of emergency, which you say that you have come to appreciate that, you know, the calls for a declaration of state of emergency may not be the solution. I heard you reference that. Correct?
Actually, what I mean is the total declaration of state of emergency for the entire country would not be the best. But if there's the targeted areas where there's the previous harm that have been done to the forest, those targeted areas, if they are declared no-go areas and they're security zones, we want to see increased activity, which would deter people from going into those forests. So that's what I mean when I say that.
I see. And then the detail of what the security zones declaration means, because then, yes, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources hinted this. We don't have much detail of what would entail,
Yeah.
what this whole security zones thing would entail. That's one demand you would make tomorrow, to have some detail.
Without a doubt. I mean, I don't think coming into the meeting, they should just come and be telling us, oh, declare the area security zones. What does it mean to declare an area security zone? What resources are you deploying there? What obstacles are you facing there? How much will all these things cost? And if there are, so always, we should always remember the numbers, right? Don't forget, some time ago, some people decided to deploy drones. I think we paid about $2 or $3 million for those drones. We never found them. Don't know whether they developed wings and flew away somewhere else. So we need to know how much these resources are also costing, because that's another thing. Don't forget that this administration costed, I think, close to about four, 5 times what the last administration costed for fighting galamsey. You understand? They costed about 50 million Ghana cedis for fighting galamsey. The last administration, I think they cost about just 10 million. So it means that to whom much has been given, more is expected. You understand? So there's no kids game at all. We want to ask of the minister exactly what we are going to see and how they are going to spend that money wisely.
Okay, I was going to answer my so our political highway. So a year do my hene and I had in Cassa or this and some to Johnny. But I must say, much a penny cocotis are in some way at my aha, a Ghana politics avenue. And don't forget to click on the notification bell. So there any updates be a drop piano once a bit to me. Madam, I say.